Imagine a world so small, so intricate, yet brimming with drama as intense as any Hollywood blockbuster. A world where an agile hunter with 8 eyes rules his tiny domain, and a formidable warrior with mandibles like steel defends his bustling kingdom. They are creatures born to be rivals, their very existence a clash of survival instincts. But what happens when the very ground they stand on collapses? When fire rains from the sky and their ancient animosity suddenly becomes a luxury they can no longer afford? What if the most unexpected alliances are forged not in peace, but in the crucible of absolute devastation? Could a spider and an ant, sworn enemies, become each other's only hope? This isn't just a story about bugs. It's a raw, gripping tale of survival, rivalry, and the shocking bonds that can form when all else is lost. Sem, HAT, video, biwa, bistichi, tit. Picture this. A sun-drenched mossy log, deep in the heart of an ancient forest. There, basking in a warm beam, is Argio. Not your average skittering spider, no doubt. Argio is an agile jumping spider, a tiny fuzzy predator with 8 keen eyes that miss nothing. He's a master of stealth, a blur of brown and green perfectly camouflaged against the vibrant tapestry of his arboreal world. This is his domain, his hunting ground, where every leaf holds a potential meal. His life is precision. Every pounce, every intricate silk thread, a testament to his solitary existence. He waits, he watches, always ready for the perfect strike. But miles, or rather inches, away beneath the very ground Argio hunts upon, lies a different kind of kingdom. Here, in bustling subterranean chambers, life moves with a singular, collective purpose. This is the realm of Formic, the formidable trap-jaw ant. Imagine jaws like steel traps, mandibles that snap shut with incredible force, a tool for excavation and defense. Formic isn't alone. He's a paragon of communal strength, a vital cog in a bustling colony. His antennae constantly twitch, a vigilant scout whose powerful mandibles are a testament to his colony's might as he ventures out for food. So, you have Argio, the lone hunter of the canopy, and Formic, the communal warrior of the underground. Their worlds intersect on the forest floor, a complex ecosystem teeming with countless, often unseen lives. It's a delicate balance, an intricate web where territories and survival are constantly in flux. Their existence, seemingly separate, is about to collide in ways neither could ever anticipate. This isn't just a forest, it's a stage set for a drama, where 2 contrasting forces are about to discover just how intertwined their fates truly are. One moment, the forest floor pulsed with life, a vibrant tapestry of green and brown. The next, the sky ripped open, not just a sprinkle, but an unseasonal, furious downpour, a deluge that turned trickles into torrents and pools into raging rivers. Imagine the chaos, the sudden dislodging of countless tiny lives from their established homes, forced to abandon everything they knew. Our agile Argio, the jumping spider we met earlier, instinctively scaled a thick, rough vine. His 8 eyes, usually so keen for prey, now scanned frantically for safety, his intricate silk threads gripping the slick bark. Higher and higher he climbed, driven by pure survival, a tiny beacon of agility against the rising tide. But far below, in the subterranean labyrinth of the ant colony, the disaster was even more profound. The torrential rain hammered the earth, breaching their carefully constructed tunnels. Water surged, forcing Formic and hundreds of his kin to evacuate, pouring onto the surface, a desperate scrambling tide of black bodies. Their well-ordered world had turned into a watery grave, and as if by some cruel twist of fate, Both the solitary hunter and the communal warrior found themselves drawn to the same refuge. Colossal, ancient tree root, gnarled and weathered, now became a temporary island in the rapidly rising waters. Their paths, once distinct, were now converging on this precarious perch, setting the stage for an inevitable confrontation. What happens when two such forces, bound by ancient rivalry, are forced into the same shrinking space? Picture this: two sworn rivals forced onto the same small, unstable raft in a raging flood. That's exactly where Argio and Formic found themselves, stranded on a solitary ancient tree root, a temporary island in the swirling, relentless water. Their paths converged not by choice, but by the brutal necessity of survival. In that cramped space, primal instincts screamed. Argio's 8 keen eyes locked onto Formic, a hard-shelled titan. Was it prey or predator? Formic, in turn, sensed the spider. His powerful mandibles began to click, a silent warning. The air grew thick with unspoken challenge. They were momentarily frozen, wary adversaries, assessing, calculating. The only sound was the relentless rain and the rushing floodwaters. Then, Argio made his move. A subtle shift, preparing his signature leap. Formic reacted instantly, lunging forward, mandibles spread wide, an unmistakable declaration of defense. The skirmish was a blur. Argio launched himself, a fuzzy missile, landing just out of reach. Formic, surprisingly fast, charged again, forcing Argio to retreat along the slick route, his silk a lifeline against the abyss. It was brief, intense, a lightning-fast dance of prowess against might. Neither gained advantage, but both learned the other's formidable nature. Exhausted, wary, they separated, maintaining a hostile distance. The flood danger might have receded, but something new had been born on that route. A rivalry. An unspoken challenge now deeply etched. Days turned into a fragile new normal. The floodwaters had receded, leaving behind a world reborn, but also scarred. For Argio, the agile jumper, this meant new opportunities. One morning, as sunbeams pierced the canopy, Argio discovered a true hunter's paradise, a patch of vibrant green leaves, drenched in sunlight, and, more importantly, absolutely teeming with small, unsuspecting insects. This was a prime hunting spot, a buffet laid out just for him. He moved with silent precision, his 8 eyes keen, already snagging a plump fly with a lightning-fast pounce. Life was good for Argio, solitary and successful. But what Argio didn't know, what he couldn't possibly fathom, was the invisible web of life and struggle connecting every inch of this recovering forest. This wasn't just Yanny patch of leaves. Unbeknownst to our 8-eyed predator, this precise location was a critical, well-established foraging route for Formic's colony, a lifeline for their monumental task of rebuilding after the devastating flood. Every morsel carried back from here was vital for their survival, for their very future. And then, as if fate itself had orchestrated the meeting, Formic emerged from the undergrowth, leading a disciplined foraging party. His antennae twitched, processing the scents, the vibrations. He surveyed the crucial path. And there, in the very heart of their designated hunting grounds, was Argio, the audacious spider, not just present, but expertly snaring withered prey. Formic's powerful mandibles clicked, a silent declaration of war. This wasn't just an intrusion, it was a direct challenge. A blatant disregard for their territory, an act of theft from resources vital to the survival of his entire colony. The tension was palpable, a silent standoff, brewing that promised to ignite into something far more dangerous than their last encounter. Now, imagine the tension building as Argio, the agile hunter, found himself in an impossible bind. There he was, with his well-earned plump beetle, a perfect meal, and surrounding him, not just Formic, but an entire squad of his powerful kin. The air thrummed with the collective determination of the ant colony, their antennae twitching, their numbers overwhelming. Most creatures would have simply abandoned their prize and fled. But Argio, no. This wasn't just about food. It was about a challenge, a direct affront to his hard-won territory. With a ferocity that surprised even the seasoned ants, Argio coiled, his 8 eyes blazing. He wasn't just defending a meal. He was defending his very claim to this sun-drenched patch. The ants surged forward, a dark, chitinous wave, attempting to encircle him, to pin him down with their coordinated assault. But Argio was a master of his domain. He darted, he weaved, a blur of brown fuzz against the green leaves, his silk threads becoming improvised weapons. He spun temporary obstacles, webbing small branches and leaves, creating sticky barriers to slow the relentless advance of the colony. He moved with a desperate grace, but the sheer numbers were a relentless tide. Then, a sharp, searing pain exploded on his leg. One particularly aggressive ant, quick and precise, had managed to nip him, a stinging reminder of the ant's collective power. Argio recoiled, the pain a shock through his small body. This wasn't a skirmish. It was an unwinnable war of attrition. With a sudden, explosive burst of energy, Argio snatched his beetle, a flash of instinct, and launched himself skyward. He executed a daring, acrobatic escape, a series of precise, desperate leaps that carried him away from the swarming tide. He vanished into the canopy, leaving the ants below, frustrated and seething, their foraging route still contested, their determination to reclaim it now burning hotter than ever. The rivalry had just escalated. Now, as you can imagine, the tale of Argio and Formic, the spider who outsmarted an army, the ant who defended his ground, began to spread. Not in whispers, but in the quick scurries of crickets and the frantic buzz of flies. Their rivalry, once a private skirmish, was becoming a localized legend among the forest's smaller inhabitants. But the forest, ever unpredictable, held a new, far more indiscriminate threat. A shadow, vast and swift, began to haunt their world, a hungry bird. This wasn't a rival to be outmaneuvered. It was an apex predator, and to it, both spider and ant were simply food. High on a sun-dappled leaf, Argio's 8 eyes, ever vigilant, caught the first glint of the danger. A flicker in the sky, a shifting shadow that spoke of impending doom. In a flash of pure instinct, the agile spider vanished, disappearing into a hidden crevice beneath a piece of bark, observing the aerial threat from the safety of his dark refuge. Down below, Formic led a crucial foraging party, their antennae twitching, their mandibles busy with precious crumbs. They were caught completely unaware. A whoosh of air, a sudden terrifying dive. The world blurred into a maelstrom of feathers and snapping beaks. Several of Formic's kin were gone, snatched in an instant, a devastating blow to the colony's fragile numbers. Formic, witnessing the brutal efficiency of the attack, felt a surge of primal anger, a desperate, unyielding need to protect what remained. This wasn't just about foraging anymore. It was about survival, about vengeance. Now, imagine this. The air, once humming with life, suddenly thickened with acrid, choking smoke. A distant lightning strike, an act of nature's raw power, unleashed a primal terror. The forest, their entire universe, was now ablaze, a monstrous entity consuming everything. Argio, usually composed, felt the searing heat first. His 8 eyes, normally keen for prey, widened with stark fear. Below, deep in his colony's tunnels, Formic felt the earth tremble, heard the crackle morph into a deafening roar. Smoke, thick and black, poured in, a cruel invader. Their ancient animosity, their rivalry, suddenly seemed meaningless. This was no longer about territory. This was about raw, desperate survival against an enemy that consumed all without prejudice. The fire, a living inferno, was the ultimate predator, threatening to swallow them whole. Through a chaotic, burning landscape, they fled. Argio, a blur, dodged raining embers and scaled superheated bark. Formic, leading his kin through smoke, burst onto the surface, navigating glowing embers and falling debris. Their paths crossed, again and again. A fleeting glimpse for Formic, a flicker for Argio. No hostility. Just a silent mutual understanding. Their individual survival instincts aligned against the all-consuming inferno. Every second was a desperate race against oblivion. The ground beneath them shimmered with an eerie orange glow, heat radiating upwards in suffocating waves. Ahead lay a terrifying maw, a deep, fiery chasm ripped open by the inferno, its depths boiling with molten earth. Their only hope. As you can imagine, it was a single precariously fallen log, charred and slick with soot, spanning the terrifying abyss. It swayed, groaned, and threatened to plunge into the inferno with every passing gust of wind. Argio, the agile spider, tried first, his 8 legs scrabbling for purchase on the unstable surface. His silk, usually his lifeline, found little to grip on the slick burning wood. He could bridge small gaps, yes, but this was a yawning maw, too wide, too volatile. One wrong move, and he'd be nothing but ash. Formic, the formidable ant, fared no better. His powerful mandibles, so adept at crushing and digging, slid uselessly across the charred bark. Each step was a battle against gravity and the searing heat that cooked the air. The log pulsed beneath them, a death trap waiting to snap. Time was a burning fuse. As the roar of the fire intensified, a desperate, unprecedented thought sparked in Argio's 8 eyes. He began to weave, furiously, not a bridge, but a thick, strong anchor line of pure silk, fastening it to a less burned part of the log. A fragile thread of hope. Formic, witnessing the spider's frantic struggle, his powerful antennae twitching, remembered the hawk, the shared vulnerability against a greater foe. In a split second, primal decision, he lunged. His mighty mandibles clamped down, not on Argio, but on the very silk line Argio had just woven. A silent, critical agreement was forged, not with words, but with an act of desperate, collective will. For a moment, their rivalry ceased to exist. Only survival mattered. They collapsed, scorched and gasping, on the safe side of the chasm. Argio, his 8 eyes dull with exhaustion, barely registered the hard ground beneath him. Formic, equally spent, simply lay there, his powerful mandibles slack, a testament to the incredible feat they had just accomplished. They had escaped, not alone, but together. This wasn't just a physical reprieve. It was a profound shift, a silent revolution in their tiny world. The fire, a common enemy, had burned away the old animosities, leaving behind something new, something unspoken. As you can imagine, the forest floor was a wasteland. Ash and charred debris stretched as far as the eye could see. Yet, life, as it always does, found a way. Months crawled by, marked by the slow but relentless march of regeneration. Green shoots, tentatively at first, then boldly, pushed through the black. New insects arrived, new birds sang. The forest was healing, slowly but surely, attracting life back to its scarred embrace. Argio found a new territory. Still the solitary hunter. But his hunts now carried a subtle, perhaps even philosophical, edge. He was still the master of pounce and precision, but he had seen the unpredictable nature of life, the sudden cataclysmic turns of fate. Formic, too, was rebuilding. His colony, though diminished, rallied under his leadership. He was wiser now, his mandibles still strong, but his antennae twitched with a broader understanding of survival, a memory of shared peril. Their paths still crossed, inevitably, in the slowly recovering landscape. But gone were the tense standoffs, the aggressive charges. Now when Argio saw the glint of Formic's hard carapace, or Formic sensed the subtle vibration of Argio's quick movements, there was a pause, a silent acknowledgement, a mutual respect forged in the heart of a raging inferno. It was a testament, truly, to how even the fiercest rivals can find common ground when faced with overwhelming adversity. This wasn't just survival. It was the dawn of a new, unspoken understanding, a new era of coexistence in the heart of the resilient forest. A powerful shift, wouldn't you agree?